Alright, truly unique and original smells is the topic today in this video, and I've got 20 fragrances here I think are very original smells. And a sea of fragrances that all start smelling similar. If you want something truly original, this is the list for you. So if you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about original smells in fragrances, unique smells, things that are not common and smelling like everything else, where it does happen a lot in the designer world, and it seems like it's starting to happen in the niche world as well. I think these are very original fragrances. I don't have other fragrances that smell like these. That's why I wanted to highlight them. So I think it's a great collection of fragrances when you're looking for something truly original, one that you can wear and nobody else around you is wearing, or even have smelled, then this is the list for you. So 20 of them. Before I get to the list, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Before I move on, please do let me know what are your most unique and original smelling fragrances in your collection. Put a comment down so I can find out. We're gonna go ahead and get started with one fragrance from the house of Comme des Garçons. This is Rouge. This is it right here. And the reason why I find this truly unique and original is because I haven't seen Beetroot in a fragrance come up before, if at all. And then the fact that they've actually added Incense to contrast against the Beetroot. Very unique fragrance. Originally when this was announced, I thought since it's called Rouge, I thought they were going into the rose direction. There's no rose in here. But it's beetroot, ginger, incense, pink pepper, mint, patchouli, and labdanum. Very unique fragrance. It's kind of more mass than being like left field or something completely random and not smelling great, but it does smell great. It smells great. It does smell fruity. It does smell a little vegetal, I shouldn't say vegetal, and then also that incense cuts through. So it's a really great fragrance for smelling truly unique to me. So Comme des Garçons Rouge at number 20. Now this next one seems like it shouldn't be on this list, but I think it's a truly unique fragrance. It's from the house of XERJOFF. It's number 19. It's a DECAS. The reason I find this to be unique is because I haven't seen notes like this come up in a fragrance where it starts reminding me of gum. Not necessarily bubble gum, but as I had mentioned in a previous video, you know, those juicy fruit gums. So there's a fruitiness about this, and there's no mention of fruit notes in here. And just a kind of like a juicy, fruity gum, bubblegummy kind of an experience. But DECAS has notes of resins, benzoin, vanilla, Orris, tuberose, mandarin orange, tobacco, apopanax, musk. It's a very unique fragrance in that I find it unique in a smell, and I also find it unique in the smell because when I look up the notes, it doesn't smell like what I'm supposed to smell, if that makes sense. That's why it's on this list. It is at the bottom though, because the ones at the bottom seem to be a little more mass. And then as we get closer, I think they're very unique smells. So number 19, DECAS. So at number 18, it's PIOTR CZARNECKI's SHIHAN from 2015. But this is SHIHAN. I believe it was called Sensei before, and it came in that 3 bottle format. This I find unique because I haven't seen a fragrance that throws in all of these addictions into one fragrance. You know, you've got whiskey in here, you've got coffee in here, you've got tobacco in here, plus you've got spices, myrrh, amber, incense, and ambre. It smells very earthy, a little dirty for sure. There's that little bit of tobacco ashiness from the tobacco, but definitely has the booziness and then also the coffee experience all rolled into one. So if you like the idea of these addictions like smoking and, you know, drinking booze and coffee and things like that, going into an ambery, spicy, smoky, musky direction, definitely check out SHIHAN at number 18. So number 17, Les Parfums de Rosine ELOGE du VERT. This one right here. This one I find unique because of bell peppers. I don't see bell peppers come up in fragrances too much. And the thing is, I use bell peppers a lot, mostly when I make a Greek salad, because I like bell peppers in Greek salad. When I slice into the bell peppers, in that smell that I'm picking up, there is a light rosiness, almost like the stems of the rose come through. So it's given that they would combine bell peppers with rose. If you guys don't know Les Parfums de Rosine, they focus on rose fragrances. This definitely has rose, but lots of green bell pepper. So it's definitely green experience with green bell peppers, black pepper, rose, ginger, patchouli, and cedar. It's wonderful fragrance, and I like this. for the fact that the rose and the bell peppers, green bell peppers, kind of really do marry together perfectly. They fit together perfectly. So, Le Parfums de Rosine, Eloge de VERT, number 17. This next fragrance is a little bit complicated to say, but I find it to be truly unique, and it's actually paying tribute to the musky, kind of powerhouse style fragrances for men back in the 70s and 80s. This is from a house called Roberto GRECO. This is OEILLERES. Right here. I think I'm butchering the way it's pronounced, but it basically stands for blinkers. This is the fragrance here. It's an animalic and musky fragrance, but also very herbal and dry and grassy. If you like the idea of earth, what musk exists in earth, with kind of like a men's cologne style fragrances back in the day, like the 70s and 80s, this is the kind of fragrance it is. It's very earthy on me, also kind of green and herbal, definitely has a floral touch, but more aromatic herbal flowers rather than, like white flowers or roses and things like that. A very, very interesting fragrance. It's one that I cherish, and I keep it in the box. Every once in a while I take it out and spray it because it's a very, very unique smell. It's definitely not mass market, but very, very unique and animalic and musky. Great job they've done with this fragrance. So this is OEILLERES from the house of Roberto GRECO, and that's at number 16. Next at number 15, it's LITA from the house of BOGUE Profumo. This is unique. To me, it's that it smells kind of smoky, barbecue-y, kind of burned, whatever burning that you would do, and then it's contrasted with flowers. Mostly I get lots of gardenia with this one. There's a major gardenia kind of smell contrasted with the smoke, but it's a great smelling fragrance. Sure, it might remind you of something from a zoologist perfumes like T-Rex, because it's the same perfumer. It's kind of there, the DNA is there, but I like the whole burn, smoky, tobacco, resin combo contrasted with the beautiful white flowers and even some yellow flowers like jasmine, ylang ylang, and gardenia. So LITA, I think, is a very, very unique smell. And the reason I'm highlighting these particular fragrances is because some of these houses have other unique smells. These are ones that I like. I'm sure the house themselves has other very, very unique houses themselves have other very, very unique fragrances, but these are definitely ones that I like. So at number 14, it's Papillon Perfumerie Salome, another animalic fragrance, very musky. And this one's kind of low because it's also reminding me way too much of things from yesteryear. But it's absolutely one of the best fragrances that I have in my collection now. It's very animalic, it's very, very musky, but kind of resinous and floral. And a lot of you mentioned if I don't pick up jasmine in here. I don't really pick up the jasmine too much. I think it's blended in a way. I am picking up its indolic touches, but not the actual jasmine itself. But it's such a gorgeous fragrance. It's kind of a, throwback to the fragrances of yesteryear. It's definitely a chypre, but it's very, very animalic. It's lower because it smells like other fragrances that I remember smelling from the old days, back in the years, but it's also very, very, very unique now because there's not a lot of things like this now. So number 14, it's Salome. So this next one is probably one of the most unique fragrances from this house that I enjoy wearing. This house is a little challenging for me, and I don't find a lot of the fragrances easy for me to wear, but I find them to be very artistic. But then this particular one, I think it's very, very unique in the smell, but I also enjoy the smell of and wearing it. This is Zoologist Perfumes Squid. And the reason I like this one is I like the whole combination of the animalic amber green note with salt. It's a very, very salty fragrance, smoky at the same time, and then it's inky. So the combination is so unique to me. It smells of the sea, and I don't really like aquatic marine fragrances, but I like this one. I like the way it's blended. It doesn't come off fishy like some marine fragrances might, especially when I put it on my skin and it blends with my chemistry. But this is really, really a very, very well done marine aquatic fragrance in that it has lots of ambergris plus salt. It's a very, very salty fragrance, and then it has the ink. Very, very unique smell to me. Zoologist Perfumes Perfumes Squid. So we're going to come to some fragrances that might be a little more mass and not so unique, but then again, I like the ingredients that they go in, and it's not something that I smell quite, frequently put together. So this next one's from the house of Nishane. At number 12, it's Ambra Calabria. And the reason I find this one unique is because I really love amber fragrances, and I think amber fragrances can be like ones that are heavy, very resinous, balsamic with the notes they use. This to me is a very fresh amber, plus it's a green amber. So in that way, it's very, very unique. And it's also very, very easy to wear. I think it's a very easy to wear fragrance. But to me, it's truly original because I did not have fragrance like this ever before. An amber that goes very fresh plus green. It's truly gorgeous. This is Nishane Ambra Calabria. This next one's from the house of État Libre d'Orange. This is Rian Intense Incense. So this one's here because there's nothing like this out there on the market now, and I do remember fragrances like this from the yesteryear once again. It's like a very powerhouse-ish fragrance. On top of that, I like the contrasts in here. The contrasts are very, very unique. You've got incense, you've got leather, plus you've got this like very opposite kind of an ingredient or note called aldehydes. So when you think the fragrance is going in one direction, it's going to flip over. It's so heavy on one side. Then you throw in all this aldehydes and it balances out the fragrance and it becomes a very unique fragrance. So it's animalic, it's leathery, it's musky, plus it's fizzy, aldehydic. It kind of like adds lift to the fragrance and it kind of balances it out with the notes. Great, great fragrance. This is Rian Intense Incense at number 11. So at number 10, going to the house of Frederic Malle, which I actually featured this fragrance in my video yesterday with Apple fragrances. This is Promise. And the reason I find this one to be very, very unique to me is the notes that go in to create this fragrance doesn't sound like it's going to be the kind of fragrance it is. First of all, it's a very boozy fragrance, and it also reminds me of apple liqueur, a Calvados, and things like that. Plus, you can actually smell that barrel that it's aging in, like it's getting fermented and distilled in and things like that. That's the kind of fragrance this is, which is very, very unique to me. It's cypriol, apples, rose, pink pepper, patchouli, labdanum, cloves, castoreum, ambroxan. Truly a unique smell. To me, I don't have anything else like this, and the fact that it reminds me of an actual spirit or a liqueur is even better. So at number 10, Promise from the house of Frederic Malle. Going to a designer house next. This is probably an underrated fragrance from this house, from their exclusive lineup of fragrances. I'm talking about Chanel, the Les Exclusives collection. This is number 18. The reason I think this is truly unique is because I don't have anything else like this. First of all, it's a musky fragrance. It's also targeted to women, but there's fragrances sort of similar to this out there from other brands, more niche houses that target their fragrance unisex. So I don't think it's a very feminine leaning fragrance. The other thing is this is very medicinal. It smells of medicine, a medicine box and things like that. But in the background there's this fruitiness and muskiness. The key star in this is ambrette seeds, and I love this note. So it has these unique kind of medicinal touches in addition to kind of having lightly boozy undertones and fruitiness, and it's definitely very, very musky. So it's a unique fragrance to me. I love it, and I love wearing it. I love that whole medicinal kind of experience, like when you open up a cabinet of medicine or vitamins, you got that smell. It's there with fruits and ambrette seeds and woods and flowers. Number 18 by Chanel, I think is a truly unique and original smell. So at number 8, I'm going to a house that people consider this fragrance to be a clone or similar to another fragrance, but I find this particular fragrance to be much more unique and original than the fragrance that a lot of people compare this to. I'm talking about the house of Tiziana Terenzi, Laudanum Nero. Sure, people say this smells like Black Afghano. Does it? It does have somewhat similarities, but to me, this is so unique that it smells of ash, burnt ash, or also gunpowder. So that's kind of interesting that I have this kind of like a powdery, gunpowder, ashy smoke kind of an experience, contrasted with the boozy note of cognac. Very interesting. And it's called Laudanum Nero. Laudanum standing for labdanum, which is, what they use to create, ambery fragrances. And Laudanum Nero, black labdanum. So it's a very dark experience, very smoky, ashy, gunpowdery, featuring cognac, labdanum, ash, tobacco, amber, incense, oud, oak, camphor, laurels. So what I like about this is the contrasts, the booziness against all this dark material, the kind of camphor and laurels experience against all this dark notes. I like that contrast about it, but it is a very dark experience. I think The contrasts are there, but they're not overwhelming because it is a very dark wearing experience. But I like it. I think it's truly original. It is a little challenging to wear because it is, after all, ashy, you know, smoky, gunpowdery kind of, but a very interesting and very, very original and unique smelling fragrance. So this is Laudanum Nero from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. This next one is very, very popular for this particular house, but I think it's a truly unique fragrance. It's been out for a good 10 years. This is from the house of AMOUAGE. This is Interlude Man. And why am I putting this in this list? This is the original. The reason I'm going with this one, because I also enjoy the luxury X-ray version of this. It's unique in that I have lots of ambery fragrances in my collection, but nothing contrasted with oregano. I think that's a very, very unique thing to do. It's unique, but it actually also works. So that I find very, very truly unique. But it's very ambery. It's very smoky, incensey. So you've got incense, opopanax, amber, oregano, leather, oud, labdanum, patchouli, black pepper, sandalwood. It's a dark, dark wearing experience, but that green, herbal, aromatic oregano will start reminding you of a little bit of, like, you know, cuisine or something. It's very, very unique that way, and I love that about it. I prefer the not the original. I prefer the luxury X-ray version, but I think you can go with the original Interlude Man from 2012. It's 10 years old, so it says AMOUAGE Interlude Man. So the next fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Loewe. This is PAULA'S Ibiza, this one right here. This one I find very, very unique. That is a beachy fragrance, but is it really a beachy fragrance? It's just a very unique combination of notes. PAULA'S Ibiza is a unisex fragrance, even though it's got the word Paula in it. So if you like green fragrances, woody, musky, and beachy at the same time, this is definitely one for you to try. It's got driftwood, coconut, ambergris, patchouli, galbanum, frangipani, bourbon vanilla, narcissus, mandarin orange. Such a unique combination, such a unique fragrances. This is a designer under LVMH, but no designers really release some off the beaten track kind of a fragrance like this. It's just a very unique fragrance, and it's not your typical beachy fragrance. It's very, very green. If you don't like green fragrances, you gotta stay away from this one. But you have that coconut in there. There's a little bit of this kind of beachy thing happening, but there's a big forest next to you, a big green forest kind of, and you're smelling the combination together. So PAULA'S Ibiza from Loewe is at number 6. Next at number 5, going to the house of Serge Lutens, this is Fille en Aiguille. This is a very, very unique fragrance to me. Unique smells that I haven't seen before. I've smelled a lot of fragrances that feature pine and things like that. Pine resin, fir balsam and things like that. But this one has this dried fruits notes added to it, which makes for a very unique experience in that it's you're experiencing this forest-like experience, frosty, cold, you know, woody greenness. And then you've got this warmth appearing with the dried fruits and some, you know, ambery resinous touches. It's such a beautiful fragrance, truly unique and truly one of a kind. I think it's the reason because of that they've put this particular fragrance, Serge Lutens, into a higher price category because it's such a following. It has a major following. Truly delicious. Number 5, Serge Lutens, Fille en Aiguille. Number 4, going to the house of Atelier Materi. It's Narcisse Taiji, this one right here. So this house has a unique collection of fragrances, and their fragrances are very wearable, but they're also just a tad bit different than every other fragrance, so it doesn't smell like other fragrances. This one I like because it's minerally and it's also smoky and very, very musky, and a unique flower, Narcissus, appears here to add its unique floral touches. It's a yellow flower. It doesn't smell like other flowers. It's a little animalic. It's a little musky, and you know, it's got this kind of green touch running throughout the whole fragrance. Very, very unique fragrance. I enjoy wearing it, and I think when I want something truly unique, I look up the fragrances from this house because, like I said, they're very wearable fragrances, but they're just a little different to make them unique from other houses. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance. A very, very unique smelling fragrance. This is Atelier Materi Narcisse Taiji. So at number 3, going to the house of Rogue Perfumery, it's Mousse Luminée, this one right here. Very unique smell. It is a throwback to men's fragrances of yesteryear, but I find it to be very unique in that I didn't have anything like this back then because I'm so familiar with those fragrances. And I just think it's a unique fragrance for today, and very original in the smell that, you know, I can be reminded of what I used to wear back then, but I can wear a very modern version of it. This is probably the best fragrance from this house to this day. I think it's just amazing the way it smells. But it's oak moss, artemisia, white flowers, cypress, olibanum, laurels, white musk, and cedar. It's great. It also has a kind of a booziness, a green booziness in it, and it just smells fantastic. Mousse Illuminée, Rogue Perfumery, truly original and unique smelling fragrance. Number 2, going to the house of Luban, it's Corrigan. So this is a very unique smelling fragrance that when I smell it, it smells like milk, like a caramel infused milk. But to me, it gets very leathery when I wear it and very musky. It's just a very interesting experience, wearing experience that I love. It's very calming, it's very cozy because of this milkiness and caramelly kind of sweetness, but then in the background it's like leather is appearing, some more, you know, masculine notes are coming through, but lots of leather here, whiskey, ambrette, musk, cognac, saffron, juniper, lavender, oud, and vetiver. If you like very original and unique smells, you gotta try this one. You do have to enjoy kind of milky, kind of lactonic fragrance experiences, but it doesn't fully go to like actual milk. It's just kind of like the experience of milk is there because the fragrance gets very musky and leathery. The ambrette seeds are key here, so that ambrette seeds notes that was in the Chanel number 18 is here, so there's an appearance of a little bit of booziness and fruitiness as well. Truly unique smelling fragrance, Corrigan by Luban at number 2. And my number 1 most unique smelling fragrance is from the house of Orris Le Grand. This is Chypre Mousse right here. This is one of the most unique smelling fragrances in my collection that I love to wear and enjoy. This is just beautiful. Originally launched in 1914, brought back in 2013, and what a phenomenal fragrance it is. It's a Chypre, that's why it's called Chypre Mousse, although we also had a Chypre here, Mousse Illuminée. It's highlighting the oak moss, but this gets very earthy. It's got fennel, it's got oak moss, it's got mint, green notes, angelica, galbanum, clover, fern, mushroom, and soil tincture. Very unique experience in this fragrance, and one that I really enjoy wearing. I absolutely love this one. That's why it deserves the number 1 spot. So Chypre Mousse at number 1. And that's all I have for you today. That's my top 20 list of most unique and original fragrances. What are your thoughts on these fragrances? Do you enjoy them? Do you have a favorite unique and original fragrance that you smell, that you love and enjoy wearing, that you haven't smelled ever before? Please put a comment down so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. 3 bonus fragrances for you. I'm going to first highlight Iris Malicon from the house of Maison Crivelli. The reason I'm highlighting this one as a bonus fragrance is because it's very wearable, but I find it unique in that you've got this iris and leather contrasted with galbanum. Very green galbanum note, but it's truly gorgeous. I didn't put it in the list because it's very wearable and it's got a huge following, but I find that contrast to be very original and unique. Iris Malicon from the house of Maison Crivelli is the first one. Going to the house of Gucci, it's Memoir de une odeur. So this one's very unique to me that it doesn't smell like anything else in their collection. It's just a truly unique and original fragrance. It features notes of chamomile, musk, bitter almond, jasmine, sandalwood, cedar, vanilla. It's very herbal, it's very aromatic, it's bitter and very musky. Truly unique experience. I know there's fans of this one out there, but I think it didn't do well as a fragrance. I'm not 100% sure, but a very interesting fragrance, very unique smell to me. This is Memoir d'une odeur from the house of Gucci. And the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about, the last bonus fragrance, is Bois Farine from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. This is an ultra powdery fragrance, but to me it smells like powdered peanut butter. Very unique in that there's no mention of nutty notes in here, almonds or peanuts or anything like that, but it's mostly notes like powdery notes and sandalwood iris and things like that. But the combination is overly powdery, intense, and it's just ultra nutty like peanut butter. That's a very unique smelling fragrance to me. So that is the last fragrance, L'Artisan Parfumeur Bois Farine. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Goodbye.